explain some of the techniques that you use to create those safe ways to school, safe routes to school.
Well, one of the basic ones that's just been made possible by the federal government is that in some cases the sidewalks are not there. So we now have some money to build sidewalks in cases where they are needed. That's pretty basic. But there are other programs that encourage children. One is a training program for second graders that tell them about the dangers of going into traffic and kinds of things they should be worried about when they step off the curb, like which direction to look and how much time they should try to, how much time they should repair, how often they should cross. If they have a signal, they should certainly take great cognizance of the signal and be very wary about crossing the street. So we spend a lot of time on that. There are things like walking school buses, where a whole bunch of kids get together and carry signs and have a jolly old time walking together to school. So we have programs like that.
Yeah. I can imagine the parents need to rethink that, that this might be actually a nice time to spend together and some exercise to walk to school. And Cambridge has also started a program called Cycle Kids, where this non-profit gives bicycles to the school, and then a policeman comes in and teaching kids of how to bicycle, how to mark when you're turning, how to look in the back.
Mm-hmm.
So the same is true about bicycling and walking. We need to learn those skills again.
Very much so.
Yeah. What else is Walk Boston involved in?
Well, one of the things we've been working on with the City of Boston, many of the intersections have signals that allow people to walk, but they are timed in such a way that, for instance, in many cases, the amount of time to walk across the street is very limited. So you get something like 7 seconds, you got to run. So we're working with the city to try to change that timing, to give it a longer timing for pedestrians to cross. And there are 800 intersections in Boston that we're working on. So maybe at this business for a long time.
Yeah, well, I'm glad you are an organization that has a lot of energy, and I think you're the executive director. She lives in Cambridge, Wendy Landman. She has wonderful people like you and a great board. It's a very energetic organization. So I think if anybody can accomplish that, I think it is Walk Boston. And do you work currently in Cambridge, or right now you're focusing on Boston?
We work all over the state. We've actually done the trainings I talked about. We've actually done trainings as far away as Pittsfield and Pittsburgh. We've also done walks. We do a lot of walks. Every year we do at least 20 or 30. And we've done walks in Pittsfield, believe it or not, with a state senator. We had a program for a while of taking walks with elected officials, just to get them to sort of get into the idea of walking in their own jurisdictions. And those have been very successful as well. So we're working all over the state. We should probably change our name to
Walk
Massachusetts
or something,
because we work everywhere. We've just completed, for instance, a series of maps, and now they're being followed up by walks in several suburban communities. We've done Walpole and Malden and Salem and Braintree, and these are communities that basically don't have walking organizations. Salem is probably the closest that might have it, but the rest do not have it at all. So we're trying to move outward from Boston and get other cities and towns involved.
Yeah. One thing I noticed right outside here, the station, in the T-stop, there's a map of Central Square, and it actually shows on the map how far you can walk in 5 minutes. And you think, oh, this is a long distance, but in 5 minutes you can walk a really long way.
Right.
And sometimes you think, oh, I drive, but then you park far away and you have to walk longer than you would have to walk if you took the T. So much of these efforts, both walking and bicycling, it's a matter of rethinking of how we can get to a place.
One of the things we've done, for instance, is in maps, we've tried to show how close things are by mapping them in terms of minutes of walking. So we did one for Harvard, we've done one for Malden, but it shows how far you can walk in 5 minutes, and it's amazing. You can walk, we did one for Somerville, you could walk between the squares, and people don't do that, but you could in a fair amount, not very much time.
Yeah.
You could walk over the whole Longfellow Bridge in 10 to 15 minutes, and we tend to think of it as being pretty long, but it's not that long.
Yeah, and it's fun. It's fun to do those walks. So I just want to bring back this image one more time, which to me, I always feel visualization of dreams, and this is not just a dream, or this is something that you work very hard and can be implemented. So I want us to kind of soak in this image of this world-class bridge, this world-class walking environment that could make such a difference. And I'm very happy that you brought this image to us here. Now, I want to make sure, in case the viewers would like to contact you, your website. Tell us a little bit of what people would find on your website.
Well, on the website you'll find all of our walks that we've held over the years. There are maps and there are descriptions, so that's there. You can see all the current events, current walks, meetings that we're holding. Those are there as well. One of the things we do, which is on the website, we comment on all of the environmental documents that go before the state or the city. So any new development that's coming up, we try to comment on what the implications are for walking. And all of our comments, there are dozens of them now, are on the website. So you find all of that, plus tips on how to walk, how to set up a walk, how to do safe routes to schools, who you contact for these things. They're all on the website.
Yeah. One thing I remember reading in one of your letters is, I think it's when you approach from Storrow Drive and you come to the first traffic light before you go into a tunnel, that it would help cars to have some, what's it called, rumble strips, so that cars realize, well, I'm entering an area where we share the road as pedestrians. Sometimes when we drive and when we are in the mode of being a motorist, we need to be reminded, well, we are in an environment where we share the road.
Right.
And there are now signs on the road which is for bicyclists sharing the road. And I think we all need to be aware that the roads don't belong to cars, they belong to everybody.
That's right.
And I know you do walks in Cambridge. I know there are walks in the New Basin, a wonderful new area. You did walks along the Charles. You do walks all over. So I hope that our viewers, even if the name doesn't have Cambridge in it, will find what's relevant, very much relevant for Cambridge.
We have one coming up that's called Walking on Cambridge Street with Foodies, and that's Cambridge Street in Cambridge. It's not Cambridge Street in Boston. So we try to get unique things going. We don't do walks, for instance, on the Freedom Trail. There are so many people doing that kind of thing, so we try to have novel walks each year, and this is the first time we've done Cambridge Street in Cambridge.
Good. Very good. Well, or you can also get one of those little machines that measure each step you take, so that you, at the end of the day, a pedometer. I know you give that out as a bonus for membership, because people can become members. So I will go back to our website in a moment, and I want to thank you, Bob Sloan, for the work you do and for coming today. And walk Boston. All the power to you. Thank you very much.
Thank you for having me.